Hola! ¿Cómo está? What's going on, guys? How are you doing? Happy Saturday. Hopefully you guys have been getting some rest with that big honker of a full moon out there. The energy is pretty wild, but that was to be expected. So, hopefully you have some plans for resting and relaxing over the weekend, taking good care of yourself. Hi, Charlotte. How you doing? Yeah, there's so many energies going on. We are coming up to Mercury retrograde. Mars is still retrograde. And there's just a lot of movement in the skies at this time. And so you're still honing in on what is in the best alignment for yourself moving forward, and where you can take action and where it is best to hold off and still observe before taking action. So really finding that sacred balance between action and observation, or in other words, waiting for something better or the perfect timing. Now, sometimes there isn't necessarily going to be perfect timing, but you'll feel in your intuition when, it's time for you to create movement in your life versus knowing that you still have to take a step back and make sure all your ducks are in a row before you move forward in a more powerful manner where you have that confidence and you can engage with those decision-making skills for your highest and best. So I don't have a lot of energy to channel this morning. I think everybody is in a little bit of a personal bubble in terms of where they are at with their internal energies and what you're clearing and what you're making way for. So the only thing that I would suggest is possibly moving back into that dream energy. So doing vision board or doing a little bit of journaling hi Jocelyn, on what your intentions are for the end of the year and then heading into 2021, starting to look towards the future again whilst remaining present in the now, and really looking in and checking to see whether your decision making right now is in alignment with where you see yourself headed for 2021. Right now, we don't want to obsess about the future, just like we don't want to obsess about the past, but we do really want to make sure that alignment and frequency is engaged in a really positive balance. So I think that's everything that I have in terms of what I feel like I need to bring forward for channeling. This is a really deep time for us to be paying attention to our own inner truth. And so I'm not going to go too far into the channeling this morning. And that's just kind of what I feel the energies are supporting. Now, I have been a busy little bee, and I'm working on creating my own oracle decks. And so the first one that I created was the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle. And I've used this one a couple times on my channel. And I'm going to be making a few tweaks here and there, but they will be up for sale soon. So I'll let you know when they are available. But I'm really excited. And today for this reading, I'm only using the decks that I created. And so I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview into the cards and the energies around those cards. And I would love to hear your feedback at the end of the session. And I'll be pulling mini card readings for those of you who are on live. And of course, if you pop on, feel free to say that you will be catching the replay, and I will pull a card for you as well. So one of the decks that I have created is the Shadow Fantasy Oracle. So this is the deck here that I'm going to be using today, in addition to my Galactic Goth Oracle. And that's this one here. So super excited to be using these today. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then as soon as I'm done doing the general read for this weekend, heading into next week, I'll start doing some private card pulls. If you like, you can donate to my PayPal. The link to that is located directly on my Kindred Heart Tarot page. So it's pinned to the top. You can find it really easily. You don't have to, but if you want to make an offer of gratitude, that is where you would do it. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please feel free to subscribe if you enjoy the content. And I'm usually on Saturdays and Tuesdays, so you can help me grow my community also by hitting the like button or the thumbs up button. And if you really want to catch me on my lives, then it's best to hit that notification bell so it lets you know when I'm coming on for a live. And then if you are free and you can tune in, then it gives you that heads up, right? So, all right, guys, let's see what the energies have for us for this weekend and for the beginning of the week. I really have no idea. I think it's a wild card kind of week. So let's start off with the Shadow Fantasy Oracle. We have Stillness, and this is in our past position. So we have a little bit of that timeout energy still happening, and we just hit 555 on the timestamp. So it's that calm before the change. And like I said in the beginning, in terms of channeling, we're really observing still. So we may have our sight, so kind of like with the bow and arrow, we have our sight on our goals. We have our sight on possible opportunities, and we're just, readying ourselves to have that moment where we take action. But we are still in this stillness energy, gathering our resources, gathering all the information that we can about what we want to take action on, making sure we have a strong foundation, security within, and then we'll be ready to take action as soon as this energy is conducive of it. So still a little bit of introspection, hermit energy, hanged man energy, where we are reevaluating things still, reevaluating maybe choices that are coming up, and we're thinking, oh, that seems a lot like what I would do in the past. I would like to be doing something different. Oh, it's just a reflection. So you might be doing little checks and balances that you didn't used to do because you're not going to repeat the past, so you have to do things differently. So this stillness card is reminding us that there is still a lot being done in that stillness, even if it doesn't look like it from the outside. And this is from the Galactic Goth Oracle, Journey Inwards. So, okay, Spirit's really hitting home with this one. So we have, it's a pretty dark card here because a lot of this is shadow work and light work. So I really wanted to have a deck that had a balance of both. So Journey Inwards, we have this little kind of hut here. We have this big planet, in the background. And so things are always moving beneath the scenes. Change is happening, even if you can't feel it or it hasn't manifested for you in the way you thought it might. We are still journeying inwards to find those keys, to find those gifts and those abilities, and really to bring them out into the light when the time is right. So we are basically preparing everything on the inside so that when the time is right, that it can come out and we have that really strong, stable foundation to move forward. So this is a really awesome energy for our past, like getting everything in alignment. And from the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle, we have Family Template. So it says, deep wounds from family trauma are at play here. Someone is projecting their fear and pain outwards. This heartache and hardship is hindering one's ability to be vulnerable. One or both parties need to heal painful patterns of emotional and unavailability. Love your inner child and free yourself from the fear of love. So a lot of this stillness and journeying inwards is really healing past family trauma. We're really healing the parts of ourselves that actually feared love, feared intimacy, because we had a different understanding of love that was more based in fear and attachment. And now we're moving into this energy of the healed inner child, which means that we're releasing ourselves from past trauma, past hurts that were projected onto us from family members and or past ancestral cycles. And so we're really learning how to courageously move towards love in vulnerability with the inner child healing. So it's like kind of all hands on deck in terms of why we had to go through this stillness and the journey inwards, and why that is still so close to our energy fields where we might feel like we are ready to take action. We really want movement. We want to see all the rewards from the hard work we have done. But Spirit's just reminding us here of how much work this really takes. And so even if you're just on the tail end of this kind of stillness and journeying in energy, just remember that you've done a lot of really hard work, spiritual work, in terms of your evolution, your soul's path, your soul's journey. And so this is a lot to be clearing. And it's okay to still be in a little bit of a rest mode. It's okay to still be gathering your resources so that you can move forward, healed, whole, and complete. So you are in your highest energy alignment for what's next. And what's next is going to call for the highest version of yourself. And so that's why there's no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts here. And so if you are still in resistance or frustrations with things not moving forward, just remember that when you take shortcuts, you pay for it in the long run. And so that is why we are really stabilizing what was unstable before, and we're readying ourselves for long-term success. Okay? So even if we hit roadblocks or challenges, or we have, a switch in the cycle and we start going in one direction, we have that strong foundation, the stability within. So no matter those course corrections, we're still going to be in our alignment. And that's the important key here. So let's see what we have for kind of our present energies. We have reflection. So really, really looking at ourselves and also our judgments and criticisms of others, but at the same time looking at the successes and the luminosity of others and recognizing our reflection in both. So we're recognizing the light that we see in others, that if you feel envy or jealousy, on the lighter levels of those energies, you are recognizing something in yourself or a capability in yourself that person has, and you're longing for it out of an insecure energy, not understanding that you're attracted to that because you have those capabilities, you have that energy within you. There's something holding you back within that hasn't allowed you to claim that as your own, in your own life, in your own unique way, right? So, and doing the work that it takes to get there. And in other aspects, when we're doing this shadow work, when we're in the stillness, when we're looking at things from different angles, different perspectives, we're also seeing a reflection in others and the layers of which this occurs. So, we always say, there's a lot of mirroring that happens. Well, yes, there is a lot of mirroring. However, when you're working on the family template, inner child work, projections from the past, what you recognize in others as shadow is something integral in the shadow in yourself too. And so then you can alchemize and transform the shadow that you see in someone else and pinpoint where it triggered the shadow in you. So we had 333 on the timestamp there. And this is all about this next level reflection that we have going on, and also continuing to take the time to reflect on either mistakes, if we want to call them that, or decisions that didn't have the results we wanted. So we're still reflecting, we're still refining, and also moving forward rapidly in our soul development. But we might not see a lot of that in the outside world. But don't fret. It is coming. It might take a little bit of a slow approach here, or slow launch. The rolling stone gathers no moss. Well, we might not look like we're rolling, but we are. So, but we're also reflecting. And courageous heart. I love this card. So you guys, in this reflection, okay, it takes courage to do shadow work, period. It takes a lot of courage and bravery. It takes a really strong heart to look at someone else's shadow. So you might go, that person isn't willing to commit. That person's wishy-washy. This person's that. And then, when you're open to the healing, you go, oh shit, okay, I'm not open to this, or I'm not being committed to my path 100%. And so I'm oscillating between this. So I'm seeing this in that person and I'm judging that, but I can also relate to that energy in this way. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Okay. Like a lot of people aren't even ready to take responsibility for their energies at a simple, basic level. And so if you're here right now and you're listening, that means that you have taken the time to reflect. And there might have been times where you freaked out and tried to get out of the cocoon, so to speak. However, overall, I think if you look back, you're going to see the strength, the perseverance, and the calm that you managed to create and cultivate within the chaos. And that also strengthens this courageous heart of yours. And so if anyone came back to you, you know, when you're moving forward on your goals and said, well, you just got a free ride, or yeah, that just manifested out of thin air for you. And you're going to say, no, this came with a lot of inner work. And this is, my journey, and it's very special to me. And so you also have to protect this courageous heart of yours. And that's through those beautiful boundaries. And what's interesting is when we reflect on how we can relate to both the light and shadow in another person, we are actually cultivating and strengthening our self-worth and our value. And so if we know that it took a lot of sacrifice and energy and time and effort to look within and to strengthen our heart, to move away from our fears surrounding love, that 3D kind of ego perception of love, then we can understand that we do have something very valuable to protect. We do have a unique self-worth that is very inherently valuable that we must protect moving forward. And so if there's people who are trying to take time or create chaos or conflict in our lives, now that we understand that that is very valuable to protect our peace and the strength and the courage that we have created, then we're more easily and more readily going to say no. Or, hey, like these are the guidelines. If you want to align up and serve respect and, that there's reciprocal energy, then all right. But this courageous heart is not going to allow people to come in and kind of trample on any aspect of that. And it's not out of arrogance. It's out of a sense of humility about the path and the journey that you have come through, and how much work and how much effort it took for you to tend to and to nurture and to transform this courageous heart from heartbreaks of the past. And so with the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle, we have new connection. This is awesome. A new connection is on the horizon. You are in alignment with this person, and the compatibility and chemistry will be instantaneous. Both parties move forward with healthy caution to ensure a stable foundation. Honest conversations will allow any old hurts to be released with love and compassion. Love can hurt, and it can also heal. Healing awaits. This is so awesome. So if you have taken the time to reflect on your past energies in love and your past energies in relationship, to friends, to family, to what was projected onto you and you took on in your intimate relationships, and you're kind of coming into this stage where you're like, you know what? I have a courageous heart. Okay, things might not have worked out the way I wanted in the past, but I am ready to show up with courage and bravery and try this again. And I'm ready to take the time to build that stable, solid foundation. And that's exactly what this new connection card is talking about. Both parties are able to take it slow because they know that rushing things won't achieve greater results. And so any intimate relationships, friendships, soul bonds, soul connections that are coming in, you're going to have chemistry and compatibility. So this is going to be a new type of love for you. It's going to be a new type of connection you're experiencing because of all this reflection and because of all this stillness and journeying inwards. You can't have the same relationships of the past because you are not the same person. All right. And this person, the cards and spirit are indicating, this person has also gone through transformation. This person has also gone through change and transition. They've also been looking into themselves. They've been doing the work. And so it's not going to be lopsided. You're not going to have this energy of, it not being reciprocated or you not being on equal ground, because this person's energies are in alignment with the work that you've done. Yes, there can be challenges. I'm not telling you it's going to be the perfect relationship coming in, because for each of you, it's going to mean something different on your life path. However, a new connection is coming in where there is compatibility and chemistry. So if you're worried that you're not going to have the chemistry of, say, past relationships, well, that stability and safety that you've created is going to be able to give you new room to create intimacy. And so now just imagine this new level of, your courageous heart, the strength that you have now, and your ability to move into a different level of intimacy in your love. So that's going to be really, really neat to have this new experience of how you love now. So that's a really big change, knowing that you've transformed and alchemized so much trauma or energies that didn't work from the past. Let's see what we have coming into the future here. Ooh, magical events. This is fantastic. This indicates that we have a little bit of blessing, miracle energy coming in, where you might have been thinking, because of the chaos and the drama and the heaviness of 2020, sometimes it can be hard to remember the magic. Even if you're working with magic on a daily basis, or your guides, your angels, spirit, God, whatever it is for you, sometimes when we're embodied and we're having this human experience, it can be really easy to get distracted by the mundane energies of Earth life. And so this magical events card with this beautiful little magical horsey, it's telling us, don't stop believing in magic just because you can't see the physical rewards in front of you just yet. Okay, you are doing so much valuable work, and you're still working on the inherent value within. And so the law of attraction, and I'm trying to search for a word here, but quantum. So the quantum level means that all of the work you are doing will see reward. It's just not guaranteed of when. All right. So you can't say like, okay, all this work that I've just done for this is going to show up tomorrow. You have to allow for the mystery to unfold for you on your behalf at the correct timing that the unified whole has in terms of a collective strength. The time that it's right for the entire collective, for the whole web, not just for you and your strand. So it is challenging here. So just remember to tap into that magic and believe, yes, magic is still here. It's still working. It's still weaving. Even if I can't really see it, it's still working under the scenes, behind the scenes. And we have surrender. This one is really kind of fun because it's exactly what I was just touching on, but Spirit is telling us, take it home, take it home. We can't force what we want. This is the purest energy of the divine feminine, is working on yourself, aligning yourself, focusing on yourself, putting yourself first, taking care of your inner child, taking care of your inner masculine, taking care of that inner feminine, and surrendering to the mystery, surrendering to the magic of the universe, the mystery, the void, and understanding that out of that lack of control is a sense of control that comes through surrender. Surrender is really quite an interesting one. You could probably meditate on the energy of surrender for a very long time, and you would get some really interesting results, I am sure. And maybe that's something to do over the weekend, is really meditate on what surrender means to you. Because I've been learning all about surrender for the past year, and just really kind of forced there through life circumstances, and recognizing that surrender is so powerful. When we are attached to certain outcomes or certain ways of doing things, in a subconscious way, we are rigidly saying that this is all that exists for us. In a poverty mentality, if we say, okay, say I wanted to create one oracle deck, and I wanted to do that within like 4 weeks, and then it never happened, and I thought, okay, well that's a dead end. That's never going to culminate or anything. And then I go on a totally different path, and later, years later, meet someone, collaborate, and have this amazing deck come out of nowhere. Well, it didn't really come out of nowhere. And I tried to force it years ago, but it didn't work. And then simply through changing directions and not focusing on that exact outcome, the outcome came, but naturally unfolding, blossoming. So I don't know if that was the best analogy, but I think you guys understand the difference between limitless understanding, which is surrender, and that rigid concept that there's only what we see for ourselves. And so this is part of what this magical events and the stillness card are kind of telling us, is if we surrender to the magic, we're still moving forward, we're still rolling, but we're surrendering to something bigger than ourselves and saying this or something better. That's essentially your energetic gesture to the universe. The frequency you're emitting is, I am open to what the universe has to bring to me, that I'm attracting, that I'm magnetizing with an open energy, rather than, no, there's no magic, there's no help, there's nothing. I just have to do the work. I just have to get it done. I just have to do this even though I don't want to. And then you can feel even how your tone and your energy and probably your posture are going to downshift into a lower frequency. So it might seem fantastical, but you're still in the practical world. You're still making practical decisions, but you're also allowing that higher energy to help you flow, to help you move. So it's almost like you're working in conjunction with God energy, or whatever you want to call it, Christ consciousness or spirit, the collective energies. So the energies that are the highest and best for everybody, that's the energy you're tapping into. And on a quantum level, that's pretty big. If you're able to continue to surrender, and it's a practice, it's not just like, oh, surrender, because you might surrender and then you hit a roadblock and you're like, okay, well, I guess I have to do this now. And Spirit's kind of like, do you have to do that? Or is there a more creative solution here? So be very careful with this right now, because there are some quantum leap tests happening. Can you quantum leap? Can you change timelines? Or are you going to fall back into an old pattern and have to blast yourself out of it later? Be really careful with that right now. I've even just dipped my toe in that just over the past week, going, oh, I think this is a test. Okay, all right. So just keep an eye on yourself in terms of what you've said for yourself and how you can surrender into that higher version of yourself and doing things differently, versus kind of falling into that comfort zone of, okay, well, I guess I have to just do the old version now. And to clarify, we have forgiveness. It is time to be soft and move forward with gentleness in your heart. Forgiveness of what did not work or was not in your highest interest will set you free. Knowing that another's behavior and choices are a reflection of them, it is time to release the burdens of another's pain. It is no longer yours to carry. Forgiveness will allow you to embrace a new beginning with someone who values and respects you. That's twice now that we have referenced a new beginning with someone who values and respects you. And so remember, I was talking a little bit about this in the beginning. If you don't value yourself, then you don't think you have anything to protect. You don't think you have any need for boundaries or feel the need for boundaries, because subconsciously there's nothing to protect. There's nothing that you need boundaries for. Everyone can just take. It's a little free market. But as soon as you put that level of value, that inherent value on yourself, your inherent being, that means just you as you are showing up, then you have the ability to truly surrender. So also surrendering, it seems like this person, this connection has magic, fate, destiny connected to it. That's what I'm also seeing here with this courageous heart, magical events surrendering, because it's saying that if we aren't surrendering to love in the way that it wants to come through for our highest and best, we're trying to control it. And that's back in the old energies of not freeing ourselves from the fear of love. And you might be thinking, Molly, what are you talking about? I'm not afraid of love. Well, I would encourage you to meditate on that a little bit. How you might have been afraid of love. How you might have thought you had fear, say, commitment issues or emotional availability or unavailability issues. Well, that loops back to fears around love, being loved, giving love, right? So that's another really good one to meditate on. Surrender, and where any energies of fearing love might come in, because this courageous heart, I mean, yes, there might be fears, but we're facing them and we're ready to surrender to love again. So, whoa, you might have thought, I will never surrender to love again. I will never allow my kind of fantastical thinking to dream up a relationship that's not grounded in the practical realm. Well, just remember, you are grounded now, because the stable foundation in itself means that you're grounded. That means that you've worked on your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus chakra, so that you can have a stable foundation for the crown, for the third eye, for the intuitive energies, for the heart and the throat, communicating with both practical and the etheric. So you're joining both worlds. You're combining both worlds within yourself. It's heaven on earth within your own body. So if you picture earth as your body and heaven being your connection to God, spirit, universe, then heaven on earth is actually intrinsically within you. So, and I'm just having like an aha moment here for myself. I always looked at it as, I want to see heaven on earth in my life. I want to see heaven on earth in my physical surroundings. But I didn't really take it that second level of surrendering into myself and saying kind of, I want heaven on earth within myself before I can see that in the quantum level outside of myself. So that was just a kind of a ding for me. I don't know if you guys felt that too. But there is so much beautiful, beautiful, amazing work going on. And so celebration to you guys and everyone out there who is looking within and having these dark nights of the soul. And we're coming out of that now to actualize what you have learned. And so this is going to be so amazing seeing how everybody adapts and expands with this new self-worth, this new confidence energies, and how we can collaborate and work together to continue to build each other up and continue to support each other on our journeys forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed the reading with my new cards, feel free to let me know if you had any favorites. I also have another oracle that I didn't use in that reading because I'm going to change up some things about it. But I have the fantasy oracle as well. And this one is all about cycles and shifts and changes. So I think I might use that for the private card pulls in addition to the other decks here. But if you had a certain deck that you kind of want to explore when I do the private readings here, just let me know. So once again, there's the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle. So this one is all about your relationship with yourself. I am going to be changing the cover of these so that the title shows up better. But this one is really about those deep, deep soul connection with yourself and others, karmic contracts, bonds, family patterns and learning. That's all in the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle. And as I said, the fantasy oracle is about cycles, changes, patterns, and a little bit more direct in terms of like warnings and heads up, or, you're doing really well in focusing on this. The Galactic Goth Oracle is just, so much fun. And I haven't gone through this one. I did do a video, I think on Wednesday, and I went through the entire Shadow Fantasy Oracle. So you guys can catch that. And it's kind of like a mini reading because I went through each card and talked a little bit about the current energies and how they relate to each card. So if you feel drawn to that, there might be a message in there for you. And that was the Shadow Fantasy Oracle deck reveal. And so here's a couple, I'll just go through a couple of them, little cards here, just so you can get an idea for the artwork. So definitely a lot of galactic, don't give up here, galactic energies, divine timing. But we'll see a few when I do the card pulls here. There's protection. I really like that one. Yeah. Okay, so if you want a private reading, I'm going to pull some cards here. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe, join the community. We're still working on building the community up here, and I'm really grateful for your support. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. That just helps me grow, helps people find me on YouTube Home. And yeah, so let's get started, you guys. I'll do a reveal for the Galactic Goth Oracle another time. But if you want to use either the Shadow Fantasy, Galactic Goth, Fantasy Oracle, or Kindred Spirit, just let me know. And so here we go. I am going to pull. So Charlotte, let's do, and I'm going to do past, present, future for each person because I have the time as of now. And I do want to explore the decks here a little bit so I can get your feedback. And so this is going to be Charlotte. Go. Right. Okay. So here is Charlotte's message for today. In the past, we have approval. One or both parties have a self-worth imbalance and are seeking approval. This can also manifest in people-pleasing energies, seeking to fill a void, or finding validation in how someone else values us. The only approval you require is your own, and it is wise to learn how to meet your own needs rather than asking others to meet them for you. Take back your power and embrace the possibilities. That is really awesome because in your past position, this signifies that you have overcome a lot of people-pleasing tendencies or a requirement to seek validation outside of yourself. So coming into a new relationship, you're not seeking approval. You're not looking for someone else to recognize your worth. You know your worth. And so you're looking for someone to reflect that back to you, which is great because in the reading, we had someone who values and respects you coming up in the future. So in the present, we have non-committal. Someone in this situation has commitment fears and wants to protect and preserve their independence at the cost of the relationship. Whether done consciously or subconsciously, this person is blocking the flow of energy between two people by focusing primarily on themselves. A healthy relationship requires reciprocity. Knowing oneself is an important part of investing wholeheartedly, and someone is simply not ready. So this energy can also talk about being non-committal towards yourself or non-committal towards engaging in a romantic relationship. Say there's energies of I'm not sure, like it's either or for romance or for career or something like that. Then within yourself subconsciously, that's giving out a non-committal energy because you're either not committing to yourself wholly or you're not committing to the energy that you know you can do both. So I'm committed to my career and my romantic relationships. And in your mind, you could say, I know they will support one another. So that's committed to both. That's committing to the entire unit as a whole, knowing that they will work off of one another to create the highest and best within that. But if you're thinking or subconsciously acting out energy, or if there's a person in your life that's doing this, then this card is indicating that's why. There's not, 100% alignment in someone's energy that's allowing this to move forward because there's a non-committal energy. And you're calling in an equal relationship where there's value for both people's time, energy, attention. And so coming up in the future, we have commitment. This is so funny. So there's 77 cards in my Kindred Spirit Love Oracle. And so it's pretty uncanny to have non-committal in your present and then moving right into commitment in your future. So the future card, commitment. You are ready to build a strong foundation and put down roots. There is an energy of stability and being clear on what you want. Ensure that both parties are free of commitment fears and move forward with clear intention and communication. It is a beautiful time to work together towards a happy future. Commitment to yourself and the relationship will bring lovely rewards. So I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it, Charlotte. So you have this, something is just out of place in terms of that commitment energy. And I think you know exactly what it is, and you can take some time and meditate on how to bring yourself into alignment and be fully committed to what you're calling in for yourself, whether that is a long-term committed relationship or not. It's your energy that you want to commit to. And if there's someone in this present position that has that non-committal energy and you're willing to say no to that, then remember in our regular reading, we had that person coming in pretty quickly here that is a match with compatibility and chemistry. So if you do say no to someone who's displaying non-committal energies, then that commitment energy will come in right afterwards. So this is a really, really beautiful reading for you. So that is your reading, Charlotte. And maybe I'll pull, just because I would like to showcase my deck a little bit, I'm just going to pull one card from the Shadow Fantasy Oracle for you. So we'll say, maybe we'll just do single day pull for this one. So what are the energies, what your guides want you to know for your highest and best for today to meditate on? Ooh, saving grace. So this one, there's a little butterfly, a little moth here, and she's kind of in that stillness energy as well, and just recognizing that if there was a little hiccup or setback, there is a saving grace. There's a silver lining in anything that's disappointed you in the recent past here. And so it's alchemizing this into an advantage for you. So it's turning a situation that you might not feel as advantageous and really understanding. And I think this connects back into the future line of the regular reading. Surrender, continue to go with the flow. And this blessing will reveal itself. This saving grace will reveal itself. So that is those are your messages from the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle and the Shadow Fantasy Oracle there for you. So Jocelyn, let's see what the romance cards have for you. And you can actually buy this deck online through makeplayingcards.com. And I do have a link on most of my YouTube videos as well. But I will be putting them all up soon for sale. But like I said, I might be revamping this one. But if you do like it as is, it is available for sale just like this on the makeplayingcards.com site. So, Jocelyn, you're welcome, Charlotte. Let's see. What do your guides? Oh, that one came out really fast. What do your guides want you to know for your highest and best in your romantic life, your intimacy, connection with yourself? Okay. Here we go. All right, so this is Jocelyn's private reading. And of course I say private, but remember, when I do my lives and we are doing personal card pulls for people, if you're still watching, these messages will apply to you. You just have to tap into your intuition and see which messages are for you and which messages might not resonate as much. So, Jocelyn, we have excess. Someone is deciding between two enticing options. There is the need to make a decision in order to prioritize energy and invest in one person rather than two or more. It may be best to make it clear that you are not a second option and to clearly decide on a romantic partner to invest in. It is wise to make a choice rather than dividing energy or competing for attention. So this one kind of indicates that in the past, there may have been a little bit of wishy-washy energy where there was someone, either yourself or your partner or a romantic interest, that kind of was just like, yeah, maybe, like you're an option, but I'm not going to commit to you. And or they were interested in maybe wanting you and someone else. And or you wanted, someone, but you also were interested in maybe a new offer or something. And this one is indicating that in the past, this excess energy was dividing your attention. So was creating some burden energy, some chaos energy. And so we'll see what the present has to say, but the need to make a decision was necessary. So if that resonates for you in the past, like making the decision to say yes or no, or to say, look, it's just me, or, go to your other option there, then that was the most powerful choice for you. Just saying, I'm not going to compete for your attention, right? I'm wholly worthy on my own here. So you can either give it naturally or I'm going to remove myself from the situation. So let's see. We have peace. You have arrived at a pinnacle point in your life where you have cultivated inner peace. You have taken responsibility for your own power in creation and balanced your divine feminine and masculine aspects. You are divine and you connect with the divine in all humanity. We are a network of love and we thank you for contributing to this love with your own inner peace. Whoa, that's a big shout out from the universe saying the work that you have done and in making these decisions and making these commitments to yourself, to not splice your energy or to give energy where you're just an option, where, it's not good enough. So you're learning to say, no, I actually deserve 100% of your time, energy, and attention in terms of what I require in relationship moving forward. And that can be to yourself too, and the commitments to yourself, as was a little bit similar in Charlotte's reading. So, and the peace energy, man, does it ever feel good to be peaceful in your independence. And I feel like that is, even if you just have a kernel of it or an ember of it, you can build so much from that. So it's really beautiful to see that you have cultivated inner peace within yourself, because that is a very high frequency that will call in some really beautiful things for you. And it looks like this energy is, definitely up in the air. So we are going back and forth on this, and I guess I relate to this too. But you also got the non-committal. So I put them back in and reshuffled, and you got non-committal too. So I'll read it again. And this is in your future position. So this can be yourself or someone that you're interested in. Someone in this situation has commitment fears and wants to protect and preserve their independence at the cost of the relationship. So you can remember, you guys, you can protect and have safe boundaries up and be in a relationship. But what this card is talking about is it has a cost. So you're actually sacrificing the relationship to be independent. So this energy isn't the energy where you can have both. So this is a person or a thought form that goes either or. Black or white, no gray. Like I can either be successful in my career or I can have a relationship. There's not and or. So whether done consciously or subconsciously, and that's a key, right? Some people might be doing that and not realizing it. This person is blocking the flow of energy between two people by focusing primarily on themselves. And this is, of course, we all want to focus on ourselves. We want to make ourselves a priority. But what this means is that you're not a priority in this equation. So a healthy relationship requires reciprocity. Knowing oneself is an important part of investing wholeheartedly, and someone is simply not ready. And what that indicates as well is that someone's not willing to commit to themselves. Someone's not willing to commit to the work that it's going to take to move into a higher energy alignment. So that's definitely pretty prominent right now because there's this choice, right? And that might, come from this past card too. Someone has a choice to cultivate this inner peace. You chose to cultivate that. You chose the challenging path because you knew intrinsically that the energy that you would have in your courageous heart after doing this work would be well worth it, even if you didn't know that consciously. And so there may be a person around you that didn't make the choice to work on themselves and cultivate inner peace. And so what that's resulting in is this non-committal energy. So remember, these energies can change and shift at any time, but just know this is a little bit of a heads up for you that either yourself or someone is blocking some energies here because they're just too focused on themselves and they haven't made room for anybody else. They haven't made room. They haven't surrendered. They still want to be totally in control. And in order to have this person come in, you need to surrender to that. So, right, there is this energy of being open to new connections, forgiving old energies, and being able to move forward here with that commitment energy that we saw instead of the non-committal energy. And so once again, that can be self or that can be another person that we would like to enter into a relationship with, but they're just not ready. So that is your reading from the Kindred Spirit Love Oracle. And I'll pull one card for you from my Galactic Goth Oracle. So this will be your daily meditation card. What does Jocelyn need to know for today? What can she meditate on? Ooh, alchemy. So this is your power of creation. What do you want to alchemize? What are you, what do you have your eyes on in terms of what you want to manifest here from this new energy, this inner peace, right? Because that's going to be a very stable manifestation coming from a place of inner peace. So what do you want to alchemize? What do you want to create? That is, and the power of alchemy. I was going to say alchemization, but I don't know if that's actually a word or not. But I just saw something for you too. I'm going to see if I can tap back into that for a second. Right. So where have you been manifesting little things, right? So you might have just thought about something and then someone was like, oh, here you go. Or you were like, I wouldn't mind this. And then all of a sudden there's an opportunity for that. So take a look at some of the really small manifestations that have been popping up for you and kind of focusing on that, because if you are aware and observing the little manifestation energies that you're calling in left, right, and center, then you're going to be able to believe a little bit more in these magical events coming through, like with big offers, big opportunities, big changes. So is there anybody else that is catching the reading that would like a private card pull? Because this is your opportunity. Like I said, you are totally, it's up to you. You can donate to the PayPal, but you don't have to. So if you would like a private pull right now, then all you have to do is put yes, please, or I'd love a card pull or reading in the comments there, and I will pull cards for you. So just let me know. And if you have any feedback for what your first impressions are for the decks that I've created and used in the reading today, just let me know. And yeah, I'm really excited to get those kind of tweaked and out for sale for you guys. And I'll keep you updated on the energies of that, and if they'll be available directly through me, and or if they will still just be available through makeplayingcards.com and or in stores around town, etc. So I think I didn't see anybody else put in for a reading, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you had fun. I did. And like I said, thank you very much for participating in this channel, in this community. And I'm very grateful for your support and your presence here. And I know that we have a lot of big changes and shifts coming in, and I'm excited to see what you guys create, like what creations we come up with and for the end of the year even, and coming up into 2021, because I can feel it in my bones. There are going to be some magical breakthroughs for my tribe and people tuning into this channel as well. And it's just going to be really neat to touch base as we move forward and to really see how the narrative shifts and changes as we go into this new energy cycle. So hang in there and remember to ask for support when you need it. And that includes your business too, which is something I learned from the female founders. And you can find that on Facebook. It's a lovely, amazing group. And if you're interested, check that out. I'm sure Charlotte will be happy to connect with you and see if you want to move into any connections or collaborations there. So there's lots moving and shaking, you guys. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will catch you on Tuesday for the Tarot Tuesday read. Okay, ciao for now. Bye.